Last week, we spoke about how India turned the Davos 2026 meeting into a proper predatory sales office. Today is Jan 27, 2026, and I can tell you, that mission is finally a massive success. But before we get into the numbers, let me ask you a billion-dollar question. Everybody is talking about a recession in the West, but have you noticed who is actually buying the dip in the global economy? I'm your host, Sankalp, and let's first understand the intent of this channel. We want to show you the real math behind the news analysis and inference. The kind of insights that actually empower your investing decisions. Because while the whole world was distracted by the Greenland ultimatum, President Trump's tariff to slap 25% tariff on Europe, India and EU were quietly finishing their divorce from the old US-centric world. So sit tight and try and understand how the global order is shifting right in front of us. Do you remember the CEO, chief ministers we discussed in our last session? Their Davos hustle was staggering. They didn't just go there for tea, they went to close deals. But as an investor, we need to see them differently. Think of Maharashtra as the heavyweight champion. CM Devendra Fadnavis is coming back with a 14.5 lakh crores, that is $163 billion in Memorandum of Understandings. But here is the real knowledge drop. His 75% conversion ratio. He proved that in Maharashtra, a signed paper isn't just a promise. It's a factory already under construction. So if you want stability, this is where you look. And on the other hand, we have Andhra Pradesh, the sprinter. Chandrababu Naidu logged in a $10 billion data center hub with RMZ. And he isn't just selling land, he's selling speed as a service. He told European firms, if you're worried about US cloud rules or Greenland's tariffs, Andhra is your digital warehouse. Even states like UP and Gujarat hit their targets perfectly. Our states are now competing like tech companies, and for us investors, that means that we have a menu of different growth speeds to choose from. To understand why this EU-India deal happened today, a deal we have been discussing for 18 years, we have to look at the Greenland crisis. Earlier this month, Washington basically told Europe, give us Greenland or start paying 25% tariffs. For the EU, this was a systemic shock. They realized they cannot depend on the US as a stable partner anymore. And India used this exact moment to offer a hedge. Today's FTA is not just about trading goods. It's a security and defense pact. For the first time, Indian firms can participate in European defense programs. We are merging our industries so we don't have to depend on US or Russia. The world is no longer unipolar. It is a network of trusted corridors, and the India-EU bridge is currently the strongest one on the map and on paper. So, what does this mean for your portfolio? Let's look at the math. The big winners. First, textiles. We finally removed that 10% duty disadvantage we had against Bangladesh. If you are looking at a textile belt in India, the green lights are finally on. Expect a 40% jump in orders. Second, auto components. European car makers are moving their supply chains here to stay safe from Atlantic trade wars. Now, let's look at the ones who will struggle. You will need to be careful with luxury cars. We slashed import duties from 110% to as low as 10% in some categories. If you are holding traditional Indian luxury auto stocks, you might want to reevaluate those investment options. They now face a brutal price war with German giants. Also, our SMEs in engineering who will now have to compete with high-tech German machinery without any protective walls. The most strategic part, sanction insulation. Today's summit finalized the link between India's UPI and Europe's TIPS system. This means we don't need the US dollar or the SWIFT network to trade with Europe anymore. If a German buyer wants to pay an Indian exporter, it happens in seconds. Even if Washington decides to freeze financial networks tomorrow, our trade with Europe stays untouchable. We have built a financial fortress that doesn't need anyone's permission to run. If you liked this deep dive, please hit the like and subscribe button. We are going to keep tracking how this new India-EU era impacts our stock markets in real time. Remember what we always say. It's always logic over narrative and signal over noise. So a big thank you to all of you for tuning in and listening, and I will see you in the next one.